Hello and welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that bit of footage there. That was from the Leicester Trend Collectors Society show on the 23rd of July. Today is the 24th. As you can see, we've got a few things off the railway. Just got the Class 31 with the Mark II illuminated coaches there. So we've had a bit of a change around. We're putting some things away. That's sort of getting ready to put some of the buildings away. So we've got a few boxes out. So we're not going to get that much running done, I don't think, again in this video, but we will just move this around the tracks, I think, and we'll have a look at a couple of the items that I acquired at the show. Let's just change points number 6 here. So there we go, we'll open those, and then we'll bring the 31 round onto the inside line. So we'll just switch for forward. Excuse the loud noise there. I'm also backing into a cardboard box here. I keep stepping backwards. So I'm just going to put those LNER coaches away in there. So let's just back that up. Not back up, we'll go forward, sorry, not backing up at all. I think we just need to switch points number 11. See if we can stay looking over there. There we go, so we should go forward through there. Hopefully not running into anything. And I think we'll just leave that there. And as you can see, I've got a group of items there that I came away from the show with. I'll just jump the other side and then we'll have a quick look over those. Just before we get to those, I've just removed the 01 chip from the B17 and also the Patriot. So I've got that put away. It's all running beautifully and smooth, much smoother obviously than it did on the 01. So just pop those away for perhaps another day. And there's the one from the B17. I just left the numbers on them on the date I last used it, so I don't have to go through checking them again, perhaps. Let's have a look at this bit of instructions here. So you can see that the cab comes off there and you can put the chip or the module inside the boiler. So that's where it was situated in there. And I did originally have this B17 hardwired to the tender and I've left it that way again. So if we just have a quick look at it there, let's see if I can grab the controller. Hopefully we're going to run in the correct direction. I think we will. So quite a nice smooth runner. Now that is on half wave, so if you remember when these were running on 01, they made an awful lot of chatter and juddering around. Let's get a bit closer and just hear that again. So you can get a lovely smooth run on the half wave on the clipper on the old traditional controller. Let's just pop that back onto, that's full wave. That's going to tear away a bit now. Plenty of energy. It has the sort of energy that just wasn't available on the 01. So that runs amazingly on the Morley controller. So we'll get the tender top back on that at some point. And I'm just going to keep sort of taking the modules out and while I start putting the buildings away, and we'll sort of get tidied up and see what we're going to get up to next. So onto this group of items. These are from various different stalls, not all from the same stall, and there are some other items which I did predictably pick up from Dave Angel on the day. But they're for another day. We'll look at those in another time. So I was quite pleased to find these sidewalls. These are for the old standard track, and they go on the Series 3, so there's a good handful of straights. I think there's 9 or 10 sets of straights in there, a couple of sets of the large curves, and some odd parts. So let's have a look here. So I do have some of these, but not quite as many as I'd thought. But now I have a good handful to make something work on this baseboard. So that's a large radius curve. And in this other box here, we've got some short radius curves. So these are from different stalls. That's a very bendy one. Let's have a look at that. That's obviously been through a bit of action, hasn't it? Perhaps bent to fit something, or just suffered in the heat. Let's grab another one out of here. Let's pop these coaches away. So I know these are metal wheels. We'll have a look at those. I've turned off the 01 controller just in case we were getting into trouble with it. Yeah, so there's some small radius curves. So there's a good handful of those as well. So let's look at those together. Sorry, I'm moving around too quickly. So perhaps I could take the elastic band off. Excuse me while we remove the elastic band. I should have thought about that earlier. So now my gimbal has decided to do something strange. Let's see if I can hit the reset button without... There we go. I'm not quite sure why that happened. So there we go. There's a large radius. There's just the 2 radius on Series 3 and standard track. So I'm not going to take out the elastic band on there. You get the idea. These clip into the track, and the straight sections seem to have a third part, a third little tab there in the centre. Although, yeah, there are a couple of these with missing tabs, but they're still being good working order. So we'll just have a look at this great bit of paperwork. This didn't come with it. This is one I had already. Just use it to illustrate the system. So there we go. We've got some standard track there, and these just clip in, but they will go into the Series 3 as well, I think. So we'll be able to get a little bit of elevated track using this, and some of these lovely older girder bridges. I think they're quite pretty things. So that's a set of 6 inclined piers there. There are some in the box here. These came along with the sidewalls, just one set. I think there's 2 high level ones there. I think that's a high level. Let's have a look. Get that out of shadow. So R74, I think that's the high one. Yeah, look at the picture here. So the high one, it matches the bridge. So quite looking forward to having a go with those. And these are the rubber, the rubber buildings that Triang did. This is a range of incline sections that they made and decorated. So they're sort of from the Countryside series, I think we call it. They're quite interesting. We should have a look at those in the catalogue again one day. So yeah, there's more information there. We won't get bogged down in that. We'll have a look at a couple of the other pieces. So I've got a battery controller. I'm missing one of these from a set, so that was quite nice to find that. And it's not working, it says on the back, but I don't think we'll probably use it. I don't think we'll use it, sorry. So that was a £1, I think. Battery only, not working. But it'll look nice in the set. So I think this rotates. I think it only has a couple of settings. Yeah. Off, middle, and full. And it obviously goes the other direction as well. So that's an RT40. I'm not sure the years this was in production, but there were a number of battery controller options over the years, right up into the late 70s. I'm not sure if it went into the 80s, but definitely into the 70s. And these are just sort of some items I got from one terrific stall, which was just full of bags of bits and pieces. So there's some trying wheels in there. They'll come in useful, sleeved ones, and a few axles. But you can't say no for 50p, really. And this has got a bag of random power clips in there, but there are 2 for Series 3. You can see where we're going with that. There will be some Series 3 coming soon. And there's a Playcraft one in there, I think, as well. What else is there? Playcraft, Hornby ×2, and what else? For power clips collectors. I can't read that. Is that 2x Pico switches there? So there's all sorts of interesting items in there, but again, £2 for those. Quite nice to have extra power clips. Wheels, you can always do with more wheels. There's an odd set there, so I think there are 3 pinpoint white rimmed wheels in there, and then one of the plastic ones there. Again, £1 for those. They're going to definitely come in useful. You never have enough wheels. And this was an interesting little bag of washers. They seem to be little fibre washers, so I think they'll be definitely quite useful. I've got a plan for those. And another bag of what it says is uncouplers on there. And you can see £2. And they were, I think they're all in very used condition, but in there are 2 ramps in grey for the operating mail sets. So they always get damaged, so it's quite nice to have another pair of those. So it's difficult to see through the polythene. I'll put that to one side. We've got a Triang synchro smoke unit. I've already taken it out of the packet and tested it. It does work. So it does heat up and create smoke. So that's quite handy to have a spare one of those. Even though, nice just to have another smoking element, let alone the whole unit as well. So that's the smaller one. There's a slightly larger one that goes in some of the bigger locomotives. That's going in a Ginty. I think that would fit nicely in there, and a number of other locos perhaps. And then these are sort of random weights. Well, I think it says, does it say? Oh, just weights. I've got another bag of weights. I think it says Triang, but there's some. These I think out of the diesels, out of the class 31 and 37. These are the weights for the front, and these are a wagon. Going wagons as well. I think in the other bag I've got another bag of weights as well. It seemed daft not to. I think these are for wagons, and there's a couple for coaches in there as well. So I know some of my coaches are missing, or quite a lot of my coaches are missing the weights. And I'm sure there's probably going to be a use for the ones from the wagons at some point. So again, I couldn't resist those at £1. We've got a motor bogie here. So I think this was this £9? Yeah, £9 motor bogie, good motor. Does run. A little bit sparky at the moment, but it'll clean up. Brushes have got lots of life on them, so I thought that was worth having. Somebody has cut off the coupling area on here, so I suspect that was an old Mark II one, and somebody's had that off. But it's also got the plate there to put the bulb in. Sadly, not the little brass heat shield that goes over the top, but that'll definitely come in useful. The wheels are really quite nice on there. I can't get out of the packet at the moment. But just great things to pick up. Had a great fun rummaging through in that. Actually, I picked that up just for these, really. I've been thinking about it since, thinking, well, perhaps it could come into life for something else, but really I've got a locomotive which is missing the handrails, a CN switcher, which is missing its front handrails. Those will live another day, but £1. So quite good time rifling through the stall there. Now, this has got quite a random sort of bag of bits, but there are couplings in here. There are white metal parts there, which side frames for a wagon or something, or a bogie. There's some wheels as well, which are metal, semi-fine scale, I think, 1 pinpoints. But I think there are 5. I don't know whether we can see in there. Let's have a look. I don't know whether I can open that and tip those out. I think there are 4 or 5 D-shaped couplings in there. There we go. So they're reclaimed. They've been on other things, but they're always nice to have spares of those. I think these wheels are metal, so they're a little bit fine scale for what I do. I think they're very similar to that coach we saw the other day, which consequently I think is still sitting behind the controller there. I haven't managed to get that out. So I think they're adjustable as well. They're insulated quite nicely. So we'll definitely get some use out of those. These little white metal bits are fairly interesting. I don't know whether they're from a kit. I think there were 3 of those as an odd number, so definitely something missing, some other parts. And these look like an end for something. It's quite a lovely thing in it, just in itself, isn't it? And turn that around and have a look. But maybe a kit that was never finished, and things thrown in a bag. There's an end part as well. So yeah, I'll definitely use those couplings for something. Handy to have a spare set. And then these coaches, these were on the club, or the Trend Collector Society stand, and I think those are quite nice. In fairly decent condition. There's a bit of rust creeping in, but they were quite a nice pair. I think they're a slightly different colour. One's slightly sort of more reddy brown than the other, and they have this is the one with the rust. So perhaps a little bit of attention. I have a couple more of these, but they have grey roofs on them. I've had them for a while. So the person who sold me those did sort of say he thought the roofs had been changed on the grey ones, but I think the ones I already have don't have detail on the ends. They might just be plain. I can't remember. I'll have to dig them out. We'll definitely be having a bit of Hornby 00 soon as well, I think. So we'll pop that down. I've got some of these insulating tabs. They're quite nice as well. So these little packets. I don't know whether there's a complete set in there. Of course, you could insulate with anything. You don't really need these. I think these were originally sold with the points. I think they came with the points. So I think initially the point, I can't get that to focus. So we're going to get focus on there. Let's get that on another surface so we can read it. So I think the original Hornby 00 3-rail points weren't insulated, and then there was an insulated set, and I think the electrically operated ones aren't insulating. They're not so insulating, or isolating is the word I'm looking for. Let's have a look on the other side. Yeah, plain on the other side, but couldn't resist those. Quite nice things. So I think that's probably it. So by the time we get into the next video, which might be quite some time in terms of me getting around to making it, we'll have a lot more stuff tidied away. I'm going to be away a couple of weekends over July, so time's going to be short for making videos. But if you look back next week, we'll have another video. But thanks again for watching. Goodbye now.